So at Parimal 365, I welcome one of my most, I call her my most loving speaker, lecturer, and it has been my good fortune to have her as an examiner at Lalit Kala Kendra and also have some great discussions with her. There are many students who know her. They know her by her scholarship, they know her by her performance, they know her by her lectures, and the manner in which she expresses simple points to the most complex points. So I welcome the ex-HOD and Associate Professor at the Nalanda Nritya Kala Mahavidyalaya, Mumbai University, none other than Dr. Malati Agneshwaran, for this wonderful Insta Live discussion which she agreed for. And this is her first Insta Live discussion, so I feel privileged to have her coming online for somebody from, and that also me. So once again, Malati Akka, Mala ma'am, as she's known, I welcome you to this Insta Live discussion. And I have been very, kind of been mesmerized whenever you would take your Viva exams. I would always be mesmerized by the manner in which you would use certain terminologies, which for me on certain levels were unheard. And that got me thinking, and I was always having this thought in my mind that I have to in some way discuss this with you and get to know more about these terminologies, the process, and what better way but to share this discussion with the lovers of art, with the students of art, because it benefits everybody. So Mala ma'am, Malati Akka, as I call you, once again, welcome. I welcome you to this discussion on decoding text for Abhinaya. So, yes. Malati Akka, I always had... Namaste. So I always had this curious question as to what is the process of decoding text. Is there a fixed process in tradition? In your learning of Bharatanatyam from the very old Natyamanna tradition, what was your experience of observing, interpreting and communicating text and understanding text? What did you observe, Malati Akka?
Parimal, just tell me, am I looking properly?
Yes, absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay. No, what I feel is when you learn dance, you learn any bani of Bharatanatyam,
Yes.
Kandanallur, Tanjavur, Tiruvadamardur, anything.
Right.
There is a certain style to it. There is a certain pattern of adavus which you learn.
Okay.
When you learn Abhinaya, you learn eye movements, you learn hand gestures, you learn Naina Abhinaya.
Right.
But when it comes to choreography, everybody feels that what they have seen in their own items, usi ke jaise if they do the choreography, it will be all right.
Correct.
But it is not so. Then you have to initially have certain guidelines, certain rules which you will have to follow when you are starting choreography.
Correct.
After you become an experienced choreographer, after you have done a lot of choreography, then you can really master it, Then you can become an expert and you can go into various alankaras and everything. But I feel there should be a starting point.
Right.
Maybe the starting point is boring. Maybe the starting point is too simple. Maybe the starting point is, oh God, yahi sab log wahi karenge.
Right.
But somewhere you have to start. Somewhere you must have guidelines on how choreography should be done.
Right.
Then you can, of course, graduate into post-graduation and all into it.
Right.
The first thing when you start choreographing, I feel, Parimal, you must know the language.
Absolutely.
It's very important to know the language.
Right.
I can understand Maharashtrians and others not knowing the language, but you'll be surprised that so many foreigners know Tamil and they can actually converse with you in Tamil. Correct. So when I feel when other people can learn the language, I don't see why our own Indian students fall short of learning the language. When they learn choreograph something in Marathi or in Gujarati, they understand the nuance very well. Right. But when it comes to Tamil or Telugu, there is a little shortfall.
Right.
This, of course, can be rectified if they get a good translator.
Right.
But that's very, very important. Let me tell you one or two faux pas which have been seen over the years, which has now lessened quite a bit. In the item Nadana Madinar,
yes.
Munnal Maamuni Arul Sheidapadi Tavaramal.
Correct.
So Maamuniki Arul Sheidapadi Tavaramal. Then it goes on. So
Right.
now the Sheidapadi Tavaramal means as promised. I'm not failing.
Right.
He has promised Maamunirgal. But what happens in Tamil? Sheidapadi. Now Sheida means to do.
Right.
Padi means steps. So
Oh.
I have seen so many dancers doing Maamuni Karul Sheida Padi Tavaramal.
Hmm.
So now what happens? Then they say we don't know the language. Then at least take the trouble to go to a proper translator is my point.
Absolutely.
And see, we have this words here which comes Yendan Kannin Maniye.
Right.
So Yendan Kannin. Now
Right.
Maniye, you're going to show bleed, or are you going to show bell?
Right.
Well, actually, Yendan Kannin Maniye means my dear one.
Yes.
So, without understanding the context,
Yeah.
like also in Margaret Tingal, Andal says
Absolutely.
about Krishna,
Right.
Yashode Ilan Shingam.
Right.
Ilan Shingam means lion cub.
Right.
Now, does it mean that he is a lion cub?
Right.
No, it means that he's a brave person like a lion.
Absolutely.
So, understanding the language, I feel, is very important when you want to translate into Huskas.
Right. Correct. So there was also this question in Anname Ariginilva. So what do you think? Anname is to show a friend, a swan-like friend, or the gate with a swan of a swan, or a swan? Because I've seen people doing addressing it to a swan, whereas I used to think it's for
No,
a.
generally no. Generally that is there when you're doing Nala Damayanti and all that, when she speaks to the swan and all. But generally when we take a traditional Varnam, it is always the Naika addressing the Sakhi.
Correct.
So what the poet's intention is, I'm sure, that the girl who is as graceful as a swan.
Yes, exactly, as graceful.
So she's definitely as a swan. She's addressing her Sakhi, but praising the Sakhi because she wants her Sakhi to do things for her.
Yes, yes.
So the Sakhi, she says, you who are as graceful as a swan.
Correct. So I think
because the rest of the lyrics.
So basically, we are also
What
saying
did you say?
that when the mother tongue, we are not doing a certain composition which is not our mother tongue. It is very important to understand the context and decide the
Exactly.
of it, isn't it? Because the context changes, and that particular word might not exactly mean the same in that particular context. So you are saying context is extremely important in deciding the gesture.
Very important. Yes, yes, because we are coming to later on Abhida Shakti, and also context is important.
Exactly. So
Then,
please.
Secondly,
yeah.
you should know the mythology and the Puranic legends.
Yes.
You can't make up your own stories.
Right.
If the Nayaka is Rama, or if the Nayaka is Kartikeya, or if the Nayaka is Shiva, you must know the stories, the Puranic legends, as much as possible. Otherwise, usually students, what they are saying, wahi stories aa raha hai, boom ke, we are hearing the same stories, Krishna ka wahi stories aa raha hai. The same stories are coming because you are rotating the same stories. Look at the texts, you'll find so many unknown stories which you know nothing about.
Exactly.
And nowadays translations are available, Pehle kya tha, when we were young, we used to go to old people, grandmothers and all to get meanings because the texts were never translated. But now everything has got translation. Even the Kamba Ramayanam, everything has got translation.
Absolutely.
So I think dancers also should take some trouble to read these translations and understand more about the Puranas and everything. When it is Devi, it is always Mahishasura Mardini. Are dusra koi nahi hai kya?
Absolutely.
You're limiting yourself. The dancers are limiting themselves.
Yeah. Very
okay. So this comes to importance, what is needed for choreography. The first aspect in choreography is the padartham. The padartha, which is the word-to-word meaning. The word in the text is translated into haskas.
Perfect.
I'll give you one example. Samiki, Sari, Yavare. I did hastas.
Perfect.
But this was not a padartha. There was no expression on my face. There was no abhinaya. There was no bhavam. Nothing. I just did Samiki Sari Evare. That's all. So just translating the text, the padartha, into a hasta language is not abhinaya. It has to be accompanied by the facial expression.
Right.
Samiki Gambhirya. Sari Evare. Abhimana at his Lord, at her Lord. So, Sambhoga Shringara.
Right. So
the Padartha, yes.
One question is, so these terminologies of Padartha and Vakyartha are from Natya Shastra, right? Malti Akka.
Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari.
Right.
Padartha Vinayatmaka, Vakyartha Vinayatmaka.
Correct.
Padartha Vinayatmaka, Vakyartha Vinayatmaka are from Dhananjaya Dhanika's Dasharupakam.
Correct.
Where they speak about these terms. Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari are terminologies which have come from the Sampradaya.
Right.
From the dance Sampradaya.
So the
and there is one.
Yeah, the terminology that the Vakyartha spoken in Dhananjay's Dasharupaka are more in the context of Vachika, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No. Vakyartha Abhinaya. See, Padartha Abhinaya is word to word.
Correct.
And Dhanika Dhananjaya say that Vakyartha is meaning of a sentence.
Right.
So when we say meaning of a sentence, in our context for dance, it means meaning of the full padam or javali.
Perfect. So
you cannot sing the pallavi of a song.
Right.
You cannot say that this is the naika, this is the rasa, this is the main thing. No, you have to read the full thing. Right. And then only that is the Vakyartha Vinayatmaka. After you read the full song, then who is your naika, who is the, what is the rasa, what is the sthai bhava, what are the main vyabhichari bhavas, all that will come only after you read the full item, full padam or javali. Absolutely. For us in dance, that is the Vakyartha Abhinaya. Vakyartha Abhinaya Maka, not of a sentence.
Yeah. So
what will you understand from the sentence?
Perfect. So my question is that would it be right to say that in the context of dance pedagogy or teaching methodology, these terminologies which were used specifically for a play have been transposed in the Abhinaya of Bharatanatyam or in the Abhinaya of classical dance? Would it be right to say that we have adapted these?
Yes, you are absolutely right, because Padartha Abhinayatmaka, Vakyartha Abhinayatmaka of a drama. Then even when we speak in poetics, Abhida, Lakshana and Vyanjana, they are for poetics. Right. It's for drama.
Right.
But we are analyzing it in Bharatanatyam. Okay. But Bharatanatyam terminologies are definitely Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari.
And Vinyasa.
These are our terminologies for dance. These are not terminologies in drama.
So you remember your guru Mahalingam Pillai, the revered Mahalingam master, using all these three terminologies while explaining.
Yes, which like my master would say, "Enda vinyasa gattu which vinyasa have I taught you?"
Right.
Okay, and he also used the word kai, which hand?
Yes, kai. So
he's a mother kai, first hand, second hand.
Yes,
correct. You use the word hand also.
Yes.
And the word Sanchari, they did not really use these gurus because they were quite against Sancharis. Because Mahalingam Guruji always say that is Natakam. Dance is suggestive Abhinaya. Bharatanatyam Abhinaya is suggestive. So we have Padartham Vinyasa. But he didn't like story. He said that story is all Natakam. You are one time this character, you are one time that character. That is not dance, he used to say. Right. But when in Nalanda, when I started teaching, then Kanakben said, perhaps we can use the word Sanchari for this terminology. Right. And my colleague, Dr. Veena Lodhe, Sanskritist, so she said that Sanchari means to move.
Absolutely.
So we are moving from one Vyabhichari Bhava to another Vyabhichari Bhava. We move from one part of a story to another episode, part of the story. We move from one character to another character.
Yeah.
So then the word Sanchari was coined.
So
yes.
in the context of tradition and in the context of how we now explore Abhinaya, how do you differentiate between Padartha, Vinyasa, and Sanchari? What are the markers?
So as I told you, the Padartha is the word-to-word meaning,
Absolutely.
but word-to-word meaning accompanied by the proper Abhinaya and the Bhavam. And also the Bharatanatyam Abhinaya, even in the Padartha, does not need word-to-word.
Right.
Because the Abhinaya is suggestive.
Right.
Suppose I say, Karanam Ketuvadi, Kadalan Chidambaranadan Innu Varada. So now we don't have a hasta for Karanam, but we don't need it because Abhinaya is suggestive.
Yes.
So Karanam Ketuvadi or Karanam Ketuvadi, you can say it in so many ways. Just by head or Chidambaranadan Innu Varada.
Yeah.
We don't say in Varada. We don't have to do all the hastas for it. Innu Varada has not come. A shoulder movement is enough.
Right.
So the Padartha includes these subtle aspects of Angika Abhinaya also, not only word to word hasta. No.
Yeah. This is a
it is not possible.
This is a misconception that Padartha is word to word hasta is the Padartha. That is a misconception which I have seen all over. Many a times I
Yes, it is word to word hasta. You are right, 80%.
Yes.
Give another 20% to a shake of a head, to a shake of a shoulder, to some other Angika aspect.
Exactly.
Give a 20% to that.
Yeah, so the total body is involved in the Abhinaya. It is not just the hasta.
Oh yes, oh yes. See, the Abhinaya is the technique by which we bring the Bhava across.
Absolutely.
So when you say Abhinaya, it is the entire body. So you cannot say word to word only hasta Abhinaya.
Correct.
Sometimes it is a skanda, sometimes a shira.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So from
But no point, and you cannot go out of the text, but
absolutely.
you cannot go out of the text. That has to be remembered.
So the
You cannot do hastas.
Yeah, so it forms a parameter. Padartha helps in forming the parameter within which you have to explore the vinyasa. Would it be right to say that? It kind
Yes,
of
right.
the
Okay. Fair enough.
yes.
So is the Padartha clear? And also we can do the Padartha in different ways. Sometimes you can take it in Vipralamba Shringara. Like when she says, why has he not come? Karanam Ketavadi. Then it can be Viraha Vipralamba Shringara, where she can be a Virod Kantita Naika.
Yes.
And she's sad with Visada and Sambhrama and all. Or she can be Vipralamba Shringara with Amarsha, anger.
Yes.
And she can be a Kalahantarita Naika. How dare he not come when I have called him? Find out the reason why he has not come.
Correct. Correct.
So you can interpret the Padartha the way you want to, provided the rest of the lyrics accept it.
Okay. Okay. Right.
That is the Vakyartha Abhinaya.
Right.
The Vakyartha Abhinaya should correspond to it.
Yeah. So basically, would it be right to say that the Vakyartha Abhinaya is like a takeoff from the Padartha, but keeping the context intact, but exploring different emotions? Would it be right to say that?
Yeah, but it is of the full item, but
Of the full item.
it cannot be of one line.
It cannot be of one line.
It cannot be. That is already Padartha, no?
Yes. So when we are doing
So we have to
different variations of a Pallavi, after doing the first line, if we are exploring different ways of showing the same line with different emotions, what would that be? Would that be Vinyasa or would that be...
That is according to the Sampradaya tradition, it goes into Vinyasa and Sancharis.
Exactly. It goes into Vinyasa and Sanchari. So if it's Indendu Vachiti Veera, if the second line or the third line is explored with Adbhutam, if the fourth line is, next line is explored with Karunam, ki, why have you...
Bhaya.
Exactly. So all these variants would be called as Vinyasa. Would it be right to say that?
Vinyasa. The word is Vinyasa.
Yes.
V-I-N-Y.
Correct. Vinyasa.
Vinyasa.
Correct. So would elaboration be the right English word for Vinyasa? How do you translate it?
Yes. 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 Vinyasa means variations.
Variations is the right word.
So Yes, it can also be elaboration of a word or elaboration of a phrase in the sentence.
Exactly.
But the vinyasa should finish within the talavattam. Just like the padartha goes in one adi talavattam,
Right.
the vinyasa also should be within the talavattam.
So if it
So you can do one line, you can do 4 vinyasas, 5 vinyasas, and the line will be sung 4 times and 5 times.
correct, right. So I can
Like,
have,
I'll give you an example here.
yeah, please.
Shall I give you an example? Velanidam koi solladi. Go and tell my Kartikeya. So, Velanidam is this hasta, but you can also say the one who has 6 faces.
Right.
Go and tell him. The
Correct.
one who is on the peacock. Go
Right.
and tell him.
Right.
The one who's Ganapati's younger brother. Go and tell him.
Right.
The one who is the guru to his father. Go
Right.
and tell him.
Correct.
So the different ways of explaining who Kartikeya is.
Correct. That becomes the vinyasa here.
This is a vinyasa. Now the same vinyasas can be used differently. Like say in this song, Sada Ninevu Konde Mayyal Mirude Shankara Bharanane. I'm always thinking about you and I'm in love with you, oh my Lord Shiva. So then the Sakhi says, I see the snake.
Right.
And then when I see the snake, I remember you with the snake on your neck.
Correct.
I see the deer. And then I remember the deer which you are holding here. I see the water.
Right.
And then I remember Ganga who's flowing from your locks.
Absolutely.
I see fire. Then I see the fire. Remember the fire in your hand.
Right.
But at the same time, these same can be taken as Ninda Stuti also, depending on context.
Perfect.
Like when the mother tells the daughter in a Marimutta song, Yede kande iche kondayadi magale yen penne kanne. Usme kya dekh ke tumne usme you fell in love with him? What did you fall in love with him for? For that snake which is on his neck?
Yeah.
Or the deer? Oh my God, the deer will be going on talking to him. You like that too?
Right.
And then he's got that other woman there. Are you okay with that other woman sitting on the top of his head? And then there is a fire. Everybody gets scared of the fire, but you seem to be okay with it. So the same vinyasas can be used as a proper praise, or it can be a nindastuti also.
Okay. So now, if I'm to draw a table, and if I say the padartha is exactly the literal meaning, so would it be padartha would be abhidha?
We'll come to that later. Let's finish Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari.
Correct.
Then we will go to Abhidha Lakshana. Otherwise, it's getting a little bit confusing.
No problem. So from vinyasa to sanchari, so sanchari would be exactly a story, as you're saying, right?
Yes, and the song can be repeated any number of times in a Sanchari.
It also happens in
It's not. It can be 5 times, 6 times, depending on the length of your story.
Yeah, but the song is repeated even in vinyasa, and it is also repeated in sanchari. So the repetition is a
but in Sanchari, but in Vinyasa, it will go within one Talavattam. It will be within that Tala.
Yeah, within the
But
cycle.
Sanchari is not within any Tala. Sanchari the line can just go on, be repeatedly sung, and the dancer will go on dancing.
Okay.
And sometimes if the singers want to take a pause, they give it over to the musicians. Then the musicians will play, and then they continue the Sanchari.
But here I had one.
There is no question.
I had one question. If my vinyasa is slightly, broader in the terms of time, can I take 2 lines of the Pallavi and explore one vinyasa in it, or will that be a sanchari then?
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes, because sometimes the line of the Pallavi is too small.
Yes.
So it is allowed. Yeah, it is allowed sometimes.
There is a possibility that this might also happen.
It can happen. It can happen.
But one thing which is very clear is Sanchari will have the dramatization, whereas Vinyasa is always the exposition of that particular character who's talking, who's sharing her thought.
Not necessarily character, no.
Okay.
It can even be bhava.
Yes.
It can be like, look at the way she walks. Look at the way she walks like this, like this, like this. Or
Right.
look at the way she's walking. Also, it could be a walk also, in which you are showing the different types of walking when you're speaking of the other woman and you want to ridicule her. So there also the Sanchari, the vinyasas, it's not necessarily, it can be anything.
I was just thinking,
What suggests?
yeah, I was just thinking probably Vinyasa is more like through the perspective of the character who's talking. But in a Sanchari, you automatically geographically locate different characters and they could have their interaction in the Sanchari. Which in Vinyasa, it is always through the Nayika's perspective. Nayika will imitate the Sakhi, Nayika will imitate the Nayika. That might happen. But in
Yes, but even Sanchari is the perspective of the person who's speaking.
absolutely, yes.
Even Sanchari, it is your perspective when you're choosing that particular song, Sanchari for that song. It is your perspective as a Naika.
Right. Now, my question is, yes, what you're saying is perfect. That is the perspective of the Naika. That is perspective of that character. Sanchari is also the perspective of that character. Now, my question, the question which is ringing in my head is, then when we are taking the terminal, okay, point number one is in a text, in any text on dance, do we have this whole concept explained where it says that, okay, Sanchari is the development of a story, or is it the prayoga of our, the practice of our tradition that automatically has developed this terminology and said that Sanchari is a storytelling?
It is a practice of the tradition, but
Yes.
Vinyasa is there in one book. There is one book called Abhinaya Sara Samputam,
Yes,
written by Narayana Iyengar. There he is speaking about vinyasas.
yes, and he talks about these variants. He talks about these variations.
Yes, he speaks about it, but not Sanchari.
Yeah, Sanchari comes from, Sanchari is developed out of the dramatization which we see more into post-independent India classical dance forms. Would it be right to say that?
Practical tradition, practical may. It has come out of a practical tradition with the terminology, because we don't say Sanchari Bhavas, we say Vyabhichari Bhavas.
Exactly. Now,
For,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So we don't say Sanchari Bhavas. So where the Sanchari Bhavas are strung together with a Nayaka and Nayika, or with two characters or three characters, where there is the Alambana Vibhava as the other person who is the object of your anger or love or whatever. The Uddipana Vibhava, which is the surrounding, either the garden or if it is a battlefield in the case of Raudra Rasa or whatever.
Absolutely.
All these together, when they create the Sthai Bhava, that is the Sanchari.
Okay. Right. Great. So very nicely explained by you in the context of tradition, in the context of text. And now the new set of terminologies which people have also coming with, that is the Abhidha, Lakshana and Vyanjana. What about that?
Yes. Now, Abhidha Lakshana, we are coming now to the realm of poetics.
Right.
We are moving out of dance.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
But we are using these terminologies in dance. I think nowadays it seems to be a trend or what, I don't know, because we have never used it. We have studied Abhidha Lakshana and we have used Dhvani.
Correct.
But not Abhidha Lakshana and Lakshana and Vyanjana.
Correct.
So let us apply these to dance now.
Correct.
Since that is your topic also.
Absolutely.
So Abhidha, yeah. So Abhidha Shakti is the power of the primary meaning.
Right.
It is the conventional meaning.
Right.
It is conveyed by words only.
Correct.
There is only one meaning in Abhidha Shakti. There is one context and you stick to that context.
Right.
To that we can do the Padartha.
Mm-hmm.
But that Abhidha Shakti, not all words can be translated in the Padartha.
Right.
But Abhidha Shakti is a term in poetics.
Perfect.
So every word has a meaning as far as poetics is concerned. But as far as dance is concerned, that Padartha may be little beyond the Abhidha already, because we are also not using a corresponding hand gesture. We are using maybe a head movement or an eyebrow movement or a mouth movement or a nose movement or something.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah? Okay. Now a little problem is there in Lakshana Shakti.
Right.
Lakshana Shakti is related meaning. So there is a primary sentence, but in that primary sentence, there is some word which is not compatible with the sentence. It is out of that context,
Right.
but it is related to that sentence.
Right.
Come to it. So this incompatibility of that word is what makes the Abhida Shakti more powerful.
Okay.
When we have studied this in poetics, we have studied this term Gangayam Ghoshaha. Gangayam Ghoshaha means the cowshed in the Ganga. Now, does this make sense? How can there be a cowshed in the Ganga water? So obviously the meaning is the cowshed on the banks of the river Ganga, or a cowshed in the vicinity of Ganga.
Absolutely.
So this is the example given in poetics for related meaning or Lakshana Shakti.
Yes.
So now, how are we going to apply this in dance?
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. See now, again, going back to the Nindastuti. Yede kande iche kondayadi magale, yen kanne yen penne. What have you seen in him that you've fallen in love with him? My eyes, my daughter. The word kanne means eyes also.
Yeah. Kanna.
It seems to be a word incompatible with the sentence.
Right.
But actually, kanne means my dear one.
Once again, sorry.
So this is the Lakshana Shakti. So, but the word kanne adds so much more love than the word penne. That this very incompatibility of the word enhances the Abhida Shakti.
Right.
Like I give you another example.
Yes.
Ullam kavarndu shendranadi. He stole my heart and went away. How can he steal your heart? Is it compatible with the sentence?
No.
It is, meaning that he made me fall in love with him. But when you say that, he doesn't have the power which he stole my heart has.
Okay.
So the incompatible words which come in the Abhida Shakti are the Lakshana Shakti.
Okay.
I'll give you one more example. Dinamum unnai ninaindu. Every day I think about you. Urugi, I am melting. Kadari kural ketayu. Can you not hear me? No,
Yeah.
who is melting? What is melting? Ice can melt. Butter can melt.
Yes.
How are you melting?
Right.
What sense does that make?
Right.
Are you going to melt even in the heat? So what am I trying to say? That every day when I think about you, I am withering. My body is contracting. So, but instead of saying words like I'm withering and contracting and all, the word melting, the word urugi, gives so much of more meaning, so much of poetic sense it has.
Right.
It adds to the Abhida Shakti.
Right.
So sometimes we have these words, put into the Abhida Shakti, which are incompatible.
Perfect.
The word they use in poetics is incompatibility of the word. But it adds to the Abhida Shakti.
Perfect.
Otherwise, how can you say my body is melting?
Yeah.
Is it possible for the body to melt?
True.
We take it for granted in dance that is poetic language. So that is the poetic language, which is Lakshana Shakti.
Right.
You want to give any other examples in any Marathi if you can understand better? Because I'm giving all examples from Tamil.
This is fine. I was just thinking that.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. So I was just
It's a
thinking.
little confusing.
Yeah, confusing also, and I think this is very much can be directly applicable to the poetics. But I always had this question as to how you can directly bring the Abhida Lakshana in the context of dance. They sound more poetic concepts of poetry than juxtaposing them on our dance and dance choreography or interpretation.
100% Parimal, you are right. Abhida Shakti, Lakshana Shakti, Vyanjana Shakti are for poetics. But we are applying it to dance because I think of certain doubts which you had.
Yes.
Because we have never used really these terminologies in dance.
Absolutely.
But now that you made me talk about this, I realized that even Lakshana Shakti is actually quite beautiful, you know.
Yes. Yes.
It's actually quite beautiful. In so many poetries, poems, when you pick up your padams and javalis, you will find words which are incompatible. Even Anname, which you said,
Yes.
Anname Arujinil Va. Now, the very fact she's calling the swan to her is again poetic language.
Absolutely.
It is Lakshana Shakti.
So, would it be right to say that understanding Abhida, Lakshana, and Vyanjana Shakti will help us understanding the text, but to map it, it
Yes.
is ultimately Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari. So, Abhida, Lakshana, Vyanjana is at the heart of the text, but when they come out in the practice, it is the Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari which is mapped in choreography.
Right. Shall we go to Vyanjana?
Absolutely.
Is Lakshana okay? Sort of okay?
Yes, clear. Very much clear.
Vyanjana. Vyanjana is also related to the Padartha.
Right.
Which is the Abhida Lakshana.
Okay.
But where the Abhida Lakshana has one meaning, the Vyanjana Shakti has many meanings.
Correct.
Because the Vyanjana Shakti is the power of the word for suggestion.
Right.
Which later on Anandavardhana called as Dhvani. So the Shakti, the power of the word which is the Vyanjana Shakti is Dhvani. And Dhvani is the most important in dance.
Yes.
Because the vinyasas are also suggested only. Everything is suggested in dance. Isn't it? So when a poet has to communicate an emotional content,
right,
he has to do it only with suggestion. Absolutely. He can only do it with dhvani.
Right.
And when the choreographer gets suggestive ideas on hearing a song and doing vinyasas and sancharis, all the suggestions are dhvani, Vyanjana Shakti.
Absolutely.
You can have Vyanjana Shakti in, vinyasas. For example, when the poet says in Yera Rara, Mara Janaka Sukumara Sundara. So at that time, what does the poet wants to say? That Mahavishnu is very handsome and is very delicate bodied. So what does the choreographer do? He is suggestive with upamas, metaphors. So he says that like the bow are his eyebrows, like the coral are his lips, like the lotus petals are his eyes, like the sky is his body. So these upamas which we are giving, they are all suggestions which have come out of the word Sukumara Sundara.
Yes.
So wherever you're taking vinyasas, it is always a suggestion. So dhvani is a very important concept which has been adapted into dance terminology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
because there are three types of dhvani.
Yes.
Rasadhvani, Vastudhvani, Alankara dhvani, Rasadhvani, but we need not go into that. Because all this is coming under Rasadhvani.
Perfect.
We need not go into that kind of dhvani.
Yeah, definitely.
Very interestingly, I tell you, Sanchari, not all Sancharis are suggestive, you know. Yes. Like for example, I tell you from the same Yera Rara, Paramadaya Karudau, Shri Dharma Puradisha, Shri Venkatesha Cheranu. That means you are the most compassionate Lord who comes to the rescue of his devotees. Right. So me as a choreographer, I can think of the episode of Gajendra Moksham. Right. And how when Gajendra called out to you, you came to him. Right. Here the Sanchari which I will do is suggestive. Correct? It is suggestive. Right. Now, let me take this line from the song of Tyagaraja, Shirasagara Shayana, where he says, Varana Rajuni, Brovamu Vegame Vachinadi Vinnanura Rama. When the elephant king called out to you, you quickly came to him. Now here what happens? What Sanchari can you do? You can do only one Sanchari, and that is of the Gajendra Moksham.
Perfect.
So in this case, the Sanchari is not a suggestion.
Right.
The
Right.
Sanchari is the Abhida Shakti of the word.
Perfect.
Get it?
Absolutely.
This is the Abhida Shakti. It is not a suggestion. Like another thing I tell you, எந்நேரமும் ஒரு காலை தூக்கி கொண்டிருக்கிற காரணம் ஏதையா? You're always
Right. Sorry. There is some problem. One sec. Let me unmute it. No, there was another participant who came in and she unmuted herself. So I tried to mute her. One sec. Akka, can you unmute yourself from there? Can you try? On the mic.
I unmuted.
Perfect.
Yeah, so now you're always lifting one leg and standing. What is the reason? I can put a Sanchari, which will be a suggestion.
Right.
That when you went to kill Yama, you kicked Yama. At that time, you got a sprain on your leg. And because of that sprain on your leg, it is hurting you so much that you're standing on one leg.
Right.
That will be my Sanchari, which is a suggestion.
Yes.
But in the same song, there is this line, Yamane udaitta podu ever shulukkelir nondor. That means when you kicked in Yama, you got a shuluk, you got a sprain in your leg. That is why you're standing like this. Now here, see, this Sanchari is not a suggestion. It is Abhida Shakti. Right. So here what happens, the Sanchari becomes subordinate to the Abhida Shakti.
Right.
The Abhida Shakti is powerful. So we have Sancharis also where it's not necessary that the Sanchari has to be the suggestion of the Abhida Shakti. The Abhida Shakti can also be more powerful than the suggestion.
Is
that clear?
Very interesting.
So that is why you see here, we have Padartha, Abhida. Then you have the interpretation in the Padartha, which is a Lakshana, yes, which is going beyond the Abhida. Here you have the Vinyasa Sanchari, which is the Vyanjana Shakti, yes, or Dhvani.
Yes.
So that is where the correspondence comes. The Padartha Vinayatmaka is a word-to-word translation into Hastas. The Vakyartha Vinayatmaka is of the whole item, where when you read the item, you have to say, oh, this will be the Rasa, this is the Naika, this is the Sthai Bhava. Here I will put a Sanchari, here I will put the Vinyasa. You have to plan it from before you're doing choreography. You can't put all your Vinyasa and Sanchari in the Pallavi and forget the Anupallavi and Charanam. You have to divide it. Put the Charanam in one place, the Sanchari in one place, the Abhinaya in one place, the Vinyasa in one place. So you have to divide it in an item to make it interesting.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can go haywire. You know, there is one beautiful song written by Ghanam Krishna here, where the Naika is Anya Samboha Dukkhita.
Right.
And she says, there's a Saki, Onne Dudu Anupinen, I sent you as a Duti. Yennadi Nadandadu, what happened? Ullattai Urupai Sakiya, tell me the truth, my friend. Now here, when you hear the Pallavi, you can make her a Virod Kantitha, because she's sad that her husband, her lover has been with her Saki. She's angry, she can be a Kandita. But according to the song, she is neither.
Right.
She is Anya Samboha Dukkhita.
Correct.
So you see, that she is Anya Samboha Dukkhita is not conveyed in the Pallavi of the song. Yeah. But when you read the full song, you will realize she is not Virod Kantita, she is not Khandita, but she is Anya Samboha Dukkhita.
Exactly.
So you see, the Vakyartha Abhinaya is so important. Understanding the Vakyartha is so important. Right. You make mistakes, you know,
absolutely,
by only reading one line and two lines.
Perfect.
You have to know the full song.
Lovely. Malti, very nicely explained. You have brought the concept of Padartha Vinyasa Sanchari face to face with the concepts of poetics, and that is Abhida, Lakshana and Vyanjana. And I think you have clearly mapped out where which applies and how they are correlated to each other. There is a question, I think, from somebody. Okay, no, that's fine. I thought there was a question, but it was just a suggestion. So This is a vibrant session of hardcore 40 minutes where we explored all these three aspects. And I'm pretty sure there are 10 people here already, and this might be very much clear to them. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload this on Instagram. At the same time, what I'm going to request all the viewers here, that if you have any questions, please send them over. And what we will try to do is we'll go through the questions. I'll discuss them with Malati Akka and try to see how we can come with another session where we could answer those questions, right? So the Zoom session ends.
Tell them to come up with nice questions. Tell the students to come up with some nice, difficult questions so that this is the opportunity for you to solve doubts, you know, and also makes me think.
Absolutely.
But others, I get very complacent.
Yes.
I should not get complacent.
No, you are not complacent. You are already online. We are not going. The technology doesn't allow us to be complacent. So thank you so much, Malati ma'am, for being with us. And I'm going to upload this. Thanks for being on Parimal 365. And this has been a wonderful 40-minute session. Once again, on behalf of all the students here who have participated here, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Parimal. Before that, I'd just like to thank my colleague, Dr. Veena Londe, because she has really brushed up my Abhida Shakti, Lakshana Shakti, because she's a Vidu.